All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a business owner operating in Dubai right now, you absolutely know the drill, right? You want to grow, you need more visibility, and you know you absolutely need search engine optimization for the upcoming year. But trying to figure out SEO pricing for 2026, let's be honest, it can be an incredibly frustrating experience. The market is just packed with information, and making sense of it can feel like a second full-time job you definitely didn't apply for. But don't worry, we're going to make sense of the whole shebang today. Because honestly, it always boils down to this one single question. It's the exact thing every single founder, business owner, and marketing director eventually types into Google. How much does SEO actually cost? It sounds like it should be a really simple question, with a straightforward answer, right? But as you've likely discovered, the answers you get are anything but simple.
Okay, let's dive into this. You do your research, you ring up 5 different agencies, and boom, you get 5 drastically different quotes. One tells you they can do it for practically nothing, while the next one asks for a budget that looks like a down payment on a luxury villa. And the most frustrating part, at the end of the day, looking at all these proposals, you still have absolutely no idea what you're actually purchasing. It's complete chaos for a focused business leader just trying to make a smart investment.
So, in this explainer, we're organizing the chaos. 1. The SEO pricing mystery. 2. Breaking down the costs. 3. Why Dubai actually costs more. 4. The cheap SEO trap. And finally, 5. Timelines and expectations.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the SEO pricing mystery.
You are literally going to see quotes starting from around 3,000 dirhams, stretching all the way up to 50,000 plus dirhams every single month. No way, right? Why the massive gap? Well, it's because SEO isn't just some uniform product sitting on a shelf. This variance depends entirely on a few key factors: the complexity of the competition in your specific niche, the current size and health of your website, the exact targeted keywords you want to win, and the extent of the ongoing optimization required just to keep you ranking.
Which brings us to Section 2, breaking down the costs.
So, let's start right at the absolute baseline, the basic or local plan. This tier typically runs from about 1,500 to 3,500 AED a month.
For that, you're getting things like Google Business Profile creation, local citations, which, by the way, is basically just getting your name into local online directories, and some basic on-page work to make sure your website is actually readable by Google, plus monthly reporting. So who's this for? Well, this tier is strictly for a one-location service business. Think of, a local neighborhood shop that isn't really competing with too many others. It's a foundational presence, but it's definitely not built to win a highly competitive market.
Now, as we step up, we hit the SME growth tier. This is actually where a lot of businesses find themselves, starting at 3,500 AED and ranging up to about 12,000 AED a month.
Here's where the real active growth work kicks in. At this level, you get technical SEO to make your site lightning fast, dedicated content writing, active link building to boost your digital word of mouth, and keyword monitoring across multiple pages. For most small and medium-sized enterprises, the sweet spot sits right between 3,000 and 8,000 AED for a general retainer. This is the investment required to properly track and actually drive organic growth over a steady 3 to 6 month period.
But then, we see this massive jump to the enterprise or competitive tier. We're talking a starting point of 12,000 AED, easily scaling past 50,000 AED per month.
This level of investment, this is for serious, high-stakes digital competition. We're talking full technical overhauls of massive websites, creating rich, multilingual content in both Arabic and English, acquiring high-authority links, and managing AI search visibility. Actually, if you're operating in highly competitive industries like legal, medical, or real estate, you aren't just doing SEO anymore, you're literally engaging in digital warfare for market share. You're swimming in the deep waters now. In those sectors, your budget really needs to be in the 15,000 to 40,000 plus AED range just to effectively compete.
Moving right along to Section 3, why Dubai costs more.
And here's the thing that brilliantly illustrates the core challenge of the region, which is completely unique. Effective SEO in the UAE essentially requires 2 parallel, simultaneous campaigns: English SEO efforts and Arabic SEO efforts. You aren't just optimizing for one language and one audience. You have to conquer 2 entirely different search landscapes to truly capture the market share.
And we need to punch up a really crucial point here. Native Gulf dialect absolutely does not equal AI translation.
True Arabic SEO demands native-level copywriters who intimately understand Gulf search behavior and those vital local cultural nuances. You can't just run your English website through a cheap AI translator and expect it to resonate or rank in Dubai. The search algorithms know the difference, and more importantly, your potential customers definitely know the difference. All right, on to Section 4, the cheap SEO trap.
To really grasp this, we have to look at the core difference between paid ads and SEO. Look, paid ads are basically just renting traffic. They deliver instant visibility, sure, but the very second you stop paying, boom, your traffic stops completely. You're just a renter. SEO, on the other hand, is building an asset you actually own. It takes months of dedicated effort to build, but it keeps generating traffic long after the active heavy lifting is done. You own that digital real estate.
But here's the massive, massive danger. Cheap packages destroy that asset before it's even built. When you buy cheap SEO in Dubai, agencies cut corners. They skip the vital technical fixes. They blast your site with low-quality, spammy links. And what happens? They permanently damage your digital real estate in the eyes of the search engines. You aren't just wasting your budget, you're actively harming your website's future potential.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Timelines and Expectations.
Let's walk through how a proper campaign actually builds step by step. On day 1, you start lean. Make sure your foundations are right. At 90 days, you measure the initial results to see what's working, and then you scale. Between 3 to 6 months. Well, this is when most UAE businesses finally start seeing meaningful, organic improvements from a properly structured campaign. And at 6 to 9 months, that's the extended timeline for those ultra-competitive sector results.
And just to reiterate what those high-competition sectors are, if your business is in real estate, healthcare, legal services, or finance here in the UAE, you're in the toughest digital arenas around. You absolutely must plan for a 6 to 9 month wait before you see significant first-page movement. It simply takes dedicated time and investment to build the necessary authority in these high-stakes industries.
So, we've broken down the true costs, the unique local requirements of Dubai, and the realistic timelines you need to expect, which leaves us with one final, vital thought as you plan your digital strategy for 2026. Look at your current marketing budget and ask yourself, are you just renting traffic for today, or are you truly investing in building an asset you own for tomorrow?